Asuka! Oh, god damn it, wait!
No! No! He's not... He can't be! Taka... Not you. No, anyone but you.
So, you just write on them with those big fancy brushes?
You don't just write on them. You write wishes, goals, things you want for the future. Pretty fun tradition, huh? They say if you hang it on the bamboo branches, there's a chance your wish will get granted.
Does it work?
Guess you'll have to give it a go yourself and find out. Here, you try writing one.
Let's see here. Ta-da! I'm done!
I wish to be friends with Sugi forever.
What do you think? Think it'll get granted?
Depends if they can read your big clunky handwriting.
Well, I, for one, hope it gets granted. Because the happiest I've ever been is as your friend.
You don't need wishes to keep being my friend, silly. 'Cause we're not the type of friends who give up on each other, okay?
They say some people want children in the same way some kids want a dog. They don't really want all that responsibility. That's too much. They want something they can have fun with and forget about when they're being difficult. To those people, I'd really suggest getting a doll or something instead. Dolls can't say anything back, you know. Dolls don't care if they're alone, isolated from everyone else. Dolls can't hold any accusation in their little button eyes. They'll just sit there on the shelf, unable to change unless you decide you want them to be something else. You can have complete control over them. They won't say anything you don't want them to say. They won't be anything you don't want them to be. They won't notice the suffering you perpetuated because life-saving procedures weren't covered on their insurance. They won't see you insisting a patient gets on a different, more expensive medication that does the same thing as their old one. They can be just another number, another overhead. They don't have to be a life to you. How inconvenient it must have been for someone else to point out you were a bad person. You really should have gotten a doll instead. You don't need sedatives to keep a doll quiet. But who am I to say anything? It's in the paperwork, isn't it? I can't legally know what's best for me. I can't legally say what's best. I might as well have been a doll.
Kutsuki, wait.
Oh.
Another body has been discovered! You will be allowed to investigate this second body in the same investigation period, which will remain the same length as usual. Good luck! Woo! Double the fun! How exciting!
Asu, I'm so sorry.
He took. He can't be. No, I never got to. We were only just.
Hey,
He looks horrible. Oh God.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Asu. We'll figure this out. I promise.
Another body has been discovered! You'll be allowed to investigate this second body in the same investigation period, which will remain the same length as usual. Good luck! Ooh, double the fun! How exciting! Investigation time is now over! Make your way to the warden's office immediately. The trial will commence shortly. Anyone who fails to attend will be punished severely, which I really don't want to do considering how few of you there are now. See you soon, prisoners! bother you with the details. You know how this works. Time limit still applies. Just because there's 2 victims doesn't mean we get to have double the fun. So, you better.
Okay, so if we're on a time crunch here, let's just get to it.
Oh! So we're just interrupting you now. Okay, I see how it is.
Let's establish how they died. The autopsies make some of it pretty clear, but let's make sure we're all on the same page, okay?
It's pretty clear Maiko died from suffocation. I'm sure we can all agree on that.
No disputes here. It's either that or her neck snapped. But the details don't really matter. All that matters is the rope did it.
The one I'm more confused on is Taka's, honestly. From what I heard, he was pretty messed up.
Understatement of the century. His skin was melting.
What could even cause that? Some kind of acid?
Would that have killed him?
I don't know. They looked really weird. Almost dried out?
Besides, would those injuries be enough to kill him?
Well, they weren't the only injuries on the body.
My autopsy showed he had various acid burns. At least that's what I assumed the deformatives were.
Yeah, but they don't seem to be on any vital areas. He was probably in a lot of pain, but I don't think they killed him.
Is it possible the kid bled out?
No, that's wrong!
What's up, kid?
I doubt he bled out. If he did, I feel as if there would be some sort of discoloration in the water, but it was completely clear.
Right. No sign of blood anywhere.
Not to mention, the wounds looked weirdly scabbed over when we found him.
And I feel like even if he was just discarded in the pond after he already died, we would have found some evidence of blood elsewhere.
They could have always just cleaned it up and incinerated the evidence.
I doubt it. The incinerator takes about 4 hours. It hadn't been turned on when I was in there earlier this morning. I used it actually, so the killer would have been able to put anything in there.
Hey, Shinku? If you don't mind me asking, what exactly were you incinerating this morning?
Oh, just some trash from my room. I thought I might as well do it while I was in there putting my washing on anyways.
I can confirm this. I saw him walking out of the washing room earlier that morning. I'm assuming you used it then.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Just before you went to the faith room? So before Taka's body showed up in the courtyard?
Precisely. So even if it was cleaned up and the evidence was disposed of, it was unlikely to be incinerated.
Blood loss doesn't really seem like the most time-efficient murder method, especially if it was done fairly quickly, if Iz's alibi is to be believed. So I think we can rule out his acid burns being what finished him off.
But if that wasn't it, then what was it?
There was a small cut on his neck, wasn't there? It's likely that punctured some sort of artery in his neck and killed him. Fairly quickly at that.
That makes sense if the time frame it happened in was all quick. Quite a painless way to go. It explains why we wouldn't have heard any cries.
Yeah, I'm sure he really appreciated the quick and painless end after being subjected to horrifically painful acid burns. The killer sounds like a real fucking saint.
Do you have to keep reiterating how painful his end was? Do you understand how insensitive you're being right now?
Right. Sorry.
He brings up a good point, though. What was the point of the acid if they were just going to slit his neck? It feels like it's just overcomplicating things for nothing.
Yeah. Seems to be making the murder way messier than it needs to be for little gain. Unless they were that intent on torturing the kid.
Did anyone here hate him that much? Even if people found him annoying, I'd find it hard to believe anyone would go that far. It's another level of cruel.
Right? I can't understand why on earth someone would do that to him!
Well, maybe they didn't mean to?
Huh?
Okay, I'm totally spitballing here, but what if it was an accident or something? Like, the acid was completely accidental and they panicked in the moment and put him out of his misery by slitting his throat.
That would make sense, but I don't really know how you just accidentally spill acid on someone.
It's unclear either way, but I don't think we'll really know until we hammer out more specifics of this case.
Do we even know when he was killed?
Well, if Ms. Meany's account is correct, his body wasn't there when she went to the faith room this morning, so it must have happened after she entered.
It could have happened earlier than that. Maybe his body was just moved in there afterwards? That might explain why she didn't hear anything going on in the courtyard.
When was the last time anyone saw Blondie anyway?
Laura, you brought all us corrupt prisoners breakfast at 7 a.m. Was he in his cell then?
Yes, he was.
So that rules out it happening last night, but doesn't give us any idea when it could have happened this morning.
We also still don't really know when Maiko died. Shinku said he found her dead already, so that could have happened last night.
Yeah, the doors were already open by the time I stumbled in.
Alright, we ought to nail down which death happened first. That's the one that counts. If we go on as we are, we may find out way further down the line we wasted a load of time finding the second killer instead of the first.
If there are two separate killers.
There has to be. The time frames are way too close to each other. And the two were on complete opposite sides of the prison.
Alright, then let's focus back on Maiko's for a little bit. Nailing out the specific of her case might help us figure out when exactly she died.
At the very least, we can rule out suicide. If it was one, then there wouldn't have been a body discovery announcement.
Wait, really? I knew that it wouldn't result in a trial, but I feel like they'd have an announcement or something at least.
Nope. If you die in any way that wasn't directly caused by another prisoner, we don't cause any fanfare whatsoever. They kinda just disappear. Honestly, it's really anticlimactic, so don't even think about doing it.
Jesus Christ.
As morbid as that is, it does at least eliminate one possibility.
So, she was murdered, presumably by the hanging?
That's what the autopsy would suggest.
Then why the whole contraption thing? It just feels like a whole lot of extra work.
I mean, Maiko was pretty heavy. If you were gonna hang her, I feel like most of us here would struggle. Aside from maybe Fu.
There's also Suga. All those acrobatic tricks probably mean they have fairly good upper body strength.
Yes, but considering how they keep reopening their injury, I feel as though attempting to hang Molly herself would have caused significant strain on them.
Point is, using the whole rope contraption probably helped hoist her up. I mean, physics and all that, the further away you are from the thing you're trying to push, the easier it is, or something.
Well, you could have explained it better, but yes.
The rope around her neck was connected to the box on the ground, which was connected to the slack rope by the door. That feels like a few too many components to just be someone using a long rope to make the process easier. No?
You're right. I feel like there's more to it. It all feels way more intentional. It almost feels like this was some sort of trap or something. Okay, hold on. This might sound crazy, but what if this was something Maiko set up herself?
What? No,
Hold on. Aren't we jumping to conclusions a little early here? Are we even certain about the mechanics of how Yuzuki was hung? We should figure that out first and foremost, before we make any conclusions.
Okay, yeah, sure, but we're kinda on a time limit here. The specifics are important, but I think we can make a few inferences. We don't need to know the exact mechanics behind it.
Making assumptions like that is dangerous, especially when our lives are on the line. Time limit or not, it's best to be safe rather than sorry. You're just really not thinking about this properly. The rope around her neck was attached to that box for a reason. It's likely the weights within it were equal to or more than Yuzuki's weight. So, the trap was likely set up so when the box fell to the ground, Yuzuki would be quickly hoisted up and hung.
That's all well and good, but would that really be enough force to snap her neck? I mean, I feel like you'd need a few more weights for that. Maybe Maiko wanted someone to see her die?
You're making the assumption she set this up herself, which we have no evidence of currently. Even if the trap didn't snap her neck instantly, it would have suffocated her regardless. She'd die either way. It's equally likely that a killer set this up themselves, to hang Yuzuki without having to hoist her up themselves. Possibly due to a strength limitation.
I just don't know how they'd even get her there in the first place if they weren't strong enough to hoist her up themselves. Okay, but there has to be a reason for the rope by the door, especially considering it's connected to the box. It was slack when we found it, but it might have originally been tied for something. If you ask me, it was likely set up so whoever entered the room first would trigger the rope by the door, and it would act like some sort of tripwire knocking down the box. Which indicates someone was trying to get someone to set it off and kill Maiko.
There was no indication it was ever tied to everything. The rope was slack when we found it. It's equally likely the killer lacked the strength to push the box down themselves, and set up the rope to make it easier to pull it down. I really feel like you're making a lot of assumptions here, Chattel. But even if it was some sort of trap, I doubt Yuzuki set it up herself. She'd been making consistent progress since her attempt. When I was treating her yesterday, she seemed to be doing a lot better. It seems strange she'd set up her own death, especially not with how well she seemed to be doing. It just seems pointless and needlessly spiteful and cruel to make someone a murderer.
Sometimes when people are just about to attempt, they seem to briefly be doing a lot better, usually because they feel like they finally made a decision. It's some psychology bullshit. She talked a lot about wanting her death to have value and meaning when she first asked about the suicide rules. It always kind of off-put me. But I think she did set it up, but not out of spite or anything. I think she did it to try to get someone out of the game, make someone kill her so they could escape.
I've got it!
Dr. Elenius is right. It's likely it was all just to make it easier for someone to hang Yuzuki, probably due to a weight disparity.
Hold on. I don't agree. I think Lyra was onto something.
Yeah, that does seem like something Mako would do.
Not to mention, the second rope next to the door seems kinda excessive. I feel like the killer could have just pushed off the box themselves.
Plus, there's plenty of objects in the room the rope could have been easily tied to make it act like a tripwire.
Still, it all seems a little risky. How would she guarantee someone entered the room quick enough to set it off without noticing it? The rope is fairly bulky after all. I feel like you'd see it.
That broken broom!
Right! It must have been used to seal up the lecture hall.
Mako could have slipped it in between the door hands, and it would have made the doors almost impossible to open gently. You would have to slam against it with enough force in order to break the broom.
Which probably would have made whoever entered first stumble in with a whole lot of force, likely setting off the tripwire.
Pinky must have jammed it with the broom specifically, so someone would open it with enough force to guarantee they set it off.
So our culprit is whoever entered the room first.
Assuming Yuzuki set this up herself, that is.
Well, Sam was the first to find the body, wasn't he?
The door was already open by the time I got there. I swear.
You keep saying that, kid. But do we have anything to confirm it?
Yuzuki's body was fairly cold by the time I did my autopsy. So it's likely he's not lying about just finding her.
But your autopsy took place quite a bit after we found Shinku with the body. You went to go investigate the other body first. Not to mention, we don't know how long Shinku had been sitting there by the time we found him.
True.
Hey, you guys seriously don't think I lied to you all, right?
Well, if it came to saving your own skin.
I really think we're being unreasonable here. There's no evidence to suggest he lied. Is there?
But there's no evidence to suggest he's telling the truth either.
There must be something. I'm sure of it.
Right, there has to be.
Well, care to share? We're all waiting, Sam.
Just give me a second. I promise you that door was open when I got there. Someone must have seen the body before I did. They're just not speaking up because they know they killed her. They don't want to get caught.
Now that I think about it. What's the rules involving body discovery announcements again?
3 or more prisoners need to encounter a body in order for the discovery to be set off.
Does that include the killer or not?
Given how few of you there are, yes, the killer does count.
That announcement went off only after Pigtails and the doc came over, right?
Correct.
So that would add up to 3. If someone else found the body first, wouldn't it have gone off earlier?
So he's just lying. Great.
No, hold on. There's a flaw in your logic. The body discovery announcement rules here don't prove anything because...
My answer.
Dr. Elenius and Takiko were together when they found me.
I don't see how that changes shit.
It's impossible to determine if only one of them or both of them set off the announcement. The fact they were together complicates things. Since they both came over at the same time, it could have just been one of them that set it off. If someone saw the body before me, that is.
Which presumably did happen if the doors were already open by the time you arrived.
Right.
Hey, so why were you going to the lecture hall anyway?
I was about to say, that seems like a strange place to go. There isn't really much to do there.
I was just going on a bit of a morning stroll. I was really just looking for things to do while I waited for my washing to be done.
That's a little strange for your standards. Usually, you spend your mornings pretty cooped up in your own cell.
Or checking in and helping Maiko, getting breakfast for her, or taking her to get a shower.
But she was in the infirmary last night, wasn't she?
So maybe he was over there checking in on her in the infirmary, and when he couldn't find her in there, understandably panicked and started looking around for her.
But then why the fuck wouldn't he lead with that?
Wait, shit, yeah, why wouldn't he?
Not to mention, he was getting awfully close to Pinky. If she was going to intentionally get anyone to kill her to get out, it would have been him. Wouldn't it?
Hold on! How would she even have known I'd go in there? How could she guarantee someone else didn't stumble onto her first?
Maybe there was a note or something. Or maybe you discussed it.
If they discussed it, there would be no reason for the trap. It would likely be easier to do it directly.
Besides, there's no way he'd agree to that. Not after a promise. He wouldn't.
Sam breaking promises and taking the easy way out? What's new?
He wouldn't. Not like this. Not intentionally.
Well, it seems like the best option to me. I'm kinda starting to believe Pigtail's note theory. Not to mention, it would be easy to get rid of after the fact. Or just keep on him.
But there's no way to confirm that.
I mean, we could check his pockets.
Seriously, I didn't. Just please listen. I promise I'm not lying. I didn't do this. Give me a moment to...
Shut the hell up! God, you and David have more in common than I thought. Saying the same flimsy arguments over and over, and wait for someone else to do the heavy lifting for you. It's clear you're lying. You're the only one who could have set off that trap.
Ezekiel, I promise you that I didn't do this. Just give me a second to explain before you make your baseless accusation.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. We've given you long enough. And you know what you gave us? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I don't need to give you any more time to come up with a better lie. You should just give up and admit it.